Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline. This week, I am talking about my car saga, as it's been dubbed. It's a long, drawn-out process, and I'm going to take you on that journey, whether you like it or not. We've got birthday parties to discuss and the never-ending stress. We've got games and TV. No movie, but there is a bit of a thing about the movie. There was supposed to be a movie, then there wasn't a movie. So, obviously, I go into great length about that. Before we get started, please consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And please do consider sharing the podcast around. It really means a lot to us. It really helps us out a lot. Word of mouth is a wonderful thing. So if you could find your way to sharing this with somebody, we would appreciate it. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline. Hello. How's everybody doing? We're all well today. It is very warm. I know at this point of the year that seems redundant to say, but it seems to have got warmer as the evening's gone on. Let's check the old temperature. What does it say? It was 22. Only gone down to 19. And it was 22 at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So, we are due our next lovely heat wave. It's going to be 30 degrees by the end of the week. That's fucking gross. As always, I hope you are doing well. I hope all the best for you. But if for any reason you are not doing too well right now, do feel free to reach out and contact us here at the podcast. Anybody here at the podcast will take the time to respond if you reach out to us. All you have to do is say hi, and we'll say hi back and see how you're doing. If you don't want to reach out to random strangers on the internet, you can also reach out to friends and family, and if maybe you don't feel like you can reach out to friends and family, there are services out there that will always listen. So do reach out if you feel you need to reach out. So this week's podcast is going to be one of those. I have not written a substantial list for two reasons. One, I have written one thing down on my list, and it stayed that way for a week because that one thing was such an absolute... It was a big thing for me. It's probably not going to be a big thing for you lovely people, but it was a big thing for me. Other than that, honestly, holding my hands up on this one, I have been in a little bit of a funk this week. As is often or sometimes the way, I decided to step outside of my comfort zone this week, and you always have that, how's this going to go kind of scenario. And it went pretty much as you would expect, terribly. And that then has that knock-on effect, and you just end up in a bit of a funk, and you have some sort of mild depression kind of situation, and that's kind of that. And although you can, walk around and function, every now and then you think back and you go, well, that was fucking stupid. So I have not written a massive list this week, and thus this will be the longest podcast I've done in a while, because that's the way it goes. Let's have a look. 3 things. 1 big. 2 not as big. And then, there was this whole thing with a movie. I do need to remind myself that, explaining things is often a good idea, because there was supposed to be a movie this week, and I was very excited for the fact that there was going to be a movie this week, and I didn't explain myself quite as well as I should have done, and then there ended up being no movie this week. So, no No movie. Is that what I'm trying to say there? There's a small number of gaming things. Anyway, there's no point in me just reading off what's to go through. Let's get into it. So the car saga. Let me get comfortable, because this one's... So anybody that's been listening for more than, this episode will know I've been having issues, problems, a lot of backwards and forwards to do with my new car. I'm gonna own up on this one straight off the bat. A little bit of it was to do with my lack of patience. If I'd have waited a week, the theory is it would have been sorted inside of a week. I couldn't wait for a variety of reasons. Largest one being I don't have any patience. You buy something new and shiny, costs a lot of money. You want to be able to play with the new and shiny thing. And as it was, when I got it, I didn't play with the new and shiny thing because I never really felt like I could play with the new and shiny thing. Let's put it this way. I've only put my car keyring on it this week. And it's like nearly a month. Because for the entire time, I didn't really feel like it was mine. I'm not sure. I feel like it's mine now. It just lives on the drive, and I look at it and go, that's a thing. Anyway, going back, at the time that I purchased the car, they were like, fantastic, wonderful, great, come and get it on Saturday, it'll be ready to go for you. I'm like, brilliant. Next thing, they're like, yeah, it needs some work. Oh, that's interesting, because you've had that car in your books for a long time. I know this because I've been monitoring it. So what work does it need? Needs a new parking sensor, and it needs the rear lights replacing. We've replaced them already, but the unit they've sent is faulty. So it does weird stuff. It's faulty wiring, and it's a whole unit, so it just gets replaced. We need to replace it. And I was kind of hoping to get the car. How long are we talking? Like a day or whatever. And they're like, no, it's going to be like over a week. It's going to be like 10 days. I was like, that's not really what I wanted with, the car I've literally just bought. And I was talking to a mate, and he was like, take it as a good thing. Take it as a good sign. They want to do the work for you. They want it to be right before you take it. And I was like, that's a way to look at it, I guess, and that's a good way to look at it. And I spoke to Leanne, and she was like, it's a good sign that they want to do the work. They could have just sent you on your way. And I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, look, if you really want it, you can just come and get it and then bring it back. And me, being the impatient fool that I am, was like, that sounds like a great idea. I'll do that. When do you want it back? Oh, bring it back on Wednesday. Lovely. That's perfect. I don't work on that on Wednesday. I will be here. I collect the car. They're like I say, it's fine. It hasn't been cleaned. I was like, okay. And they were like, also, it needs all this work doing. So we'll let you know. You'll let me know. And thus began what has been aptly dubbed the car saga. So the car saga is, I contact the garage. Hi, what's happening about my car? They're like, we'll get back to you. And then days go by. I'm like, so what's happening with my car then? They're like, yep, we're definitely going to get back to you. I'm like, also, I've got no charging cable for it. So that's been fun to try and charge the fucking thing. And you owe me money. You never gave me my deposit back. Oh, we're absolutely sure that we did. You absolutely fucking didn't. And this just went on and on and on. And I've probably relayed this as the weeks have gone on, but I'm just doing a bit of a recap. I get to the point where I'm like, I am pissed off. I've tried every method of contacting them. Now, they seem to like text. So I was like, right, okay, I will just resort to using text, and I will just be like super nice, super happy, super whatever, and super friendly. And I'll be like, hey guys, how you doing? How you getting on? Still not had my deposit back. But anyway, how is it getting on with those car parts? And some days you'd hear nothing. Some days you'd be like, oh yeah, we'll look into it and we'll let you know. And then you wouldn't hear anything. And this went on for a good couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden, oh, let me look into that for you. Well, you're not the first person to say that. And next thing they're like, oh, yeah, the parts are going to be in a week. Bring the car. We'll sort it. I'm like, okay, well, when I originally spoke to you, you were talking like drop it off on a Wednesday, collect it on a Saturday. It wasn't ideal for me, but that time has long passed. So in my head, they want it dropping off on a Wednesday. They want it collecting on a Saturday. Again, by the time this time has passed, still not ideal for me, but what will be, what is. So, when would you like the car? Wednesday. How long will it take? And have you got a courtesy car for me? Because I live 85 miles away. Have you got insurance for a courtesy car? Yeah, I have. Have you got fully comprehensive insurance that will allow you to drive a courtesy car? Yes, I have. Can you send us your insurance certificate? I'm like, for fuck's sake. You never checked if I had insurance when I took my car, I'd like to point out. Anyway, okay, let me dig out wherever the fuck it might be, my insurance certificate. Managed, everything's on the app these days, managed to find it through the app. A little bit of searching, didn't take too long. Took a picture, sent it to them. I was like, is this what you want? Knowing full well that the second thing down is you are insured to drive a courtesy car for up to a week. I'm like, if I've got it for 4 days, problem solved. They were like, yep, absolutely. Don't forget, by the way, I did ask how long the car would take. I didn't get a response. By this point, the literal point in time where they let me know that they need the car back to do the work, my deposit magically appeared in my bank account. Who could have seen that coming? You know, at the point in time they knew I was coming back. So, things are starting to look up. They've said yes to a courtesy car. They've said yes to fixing my car. Things are starting to go my way. They were like, look, go on to the website. I was like, I'm sorry, what? They were like, book yourself in. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Book yourself in on this day, and then we'll move it. And I said, I'm sorry, what? Why the fuck am I booking myself in for you to then be able to move it? Why don't you just book me in? I'm like, fine, whatever, it's fine. Don't worry, let's just get it done. I go on the website. I started paging through all the stuff. I'm like, this one's money that you can fuck right off. This is supposed to be free. I'll presume you guys will sort that out. And it's like, bring it on this day at this time. I didn't pay too much attention because they were like, just book it in. We'll move it. I was like, right, I've booked it for the day you told me to book it. I presume you guys are going to move it now. Yeah, we're absolutely going to do that. Is the time still okay? So, let's jump back again for 1 second. The day they wanted the car was last Wednesday. Last Wednesday was my son's transition day to school, to reception at school. It's my turn to take him. Bear that in mind. Let's go back to the present. That's no longer the present, it's now the past. Because the time I book it in at your earliest point in time you can, is 8:45. And they're saying, is that time still okay? And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. That's 8:45 in the morning. You're 85 miles away. Any wiggle room on that? I've got kids to get to school. They're like, well, no, it's the first appointment of the day. We need it here for the first appointment of the day. I am like, for fuck's sake. Right, whatever. I just need the car sorting. I will sort it my end. So I said to Leanne, this is the situation. She was like, you just deal with the car. I'll sort the rest out. I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to miss my son's transition day. She was like, look, if you're there at 9 in the morning and you can get back on the road by 9:30, you'll be back to collect him. It's not ideal, but there you go. I was like, right, fine, fuck it. I left here at 10 to 7 in the morning, having got up at just a bit before 6, shower, all that, pack all my stuff, pack my car bag, long story I'm not going to go into, coffee for the road, all of it. I get up, I get sorted, I get in the car, I go. Not the most ideal drive because there are these 2 sections between here and where the garage is that are essentially just like rush hour commuter traffic, almost like roadblocks. You grind to a halt. You can walk quicker on the motorway. So it's the other side of Manchester. You drive to Manchester and then you sort of turn off and you drive to the other side of Manchester. So I get there. I am there at literally 8:43. I pull in, I collect all my stuff up out of the car, I strip the car. Because at this point in time, I'm kind of wondering if I'll ever see the car again. I strip the car. I go in, I'm like, okay, I press the button, and I'm like, oh, this, and I'm waiting around, and then a woman comes in 2 minutes after me. She's like, do you work here? I was like, I do not, no. She's like, all right. I was like, maybe push the button, although I pushed the button and nobody's come. She pushes the button, a guy turns up, can I help you? She's like, I'm here with this car, this, that, and the other. This guy was here already. He's like, can I help you? I was like, I'm here to drop my car off. He's like, cool, well, I can take your keys and you can go. I was like, I'll have a fucking job because, take a deep breath. I'm like, I believe there was supposed to be a courtesy car. All right, I'll get someone to sort that out for you. Fantastic. I'll stand here then. I'm hanging around. Eventually, somebody appears out of a puff of smoke and they're like, courtesy car, let's get you sorted. I'm like, cool. So they're like, we just need you to sign this, and sign this, and away you go. I'm like, cool. One of the sheets they gave me had the list of courtesy cars they have available. And they gave me the last one on the list. And spoilers, it went in price order. The guy went, look, it's not going to be as good as your car by a long shot, but it's a lovely car to drive, and I put some fuel in it yesterday, so you're good to go. Lovely stuff. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I was like, where is it? He's like, oh, it's out front. I go out and I'm like, well, fuck me. You managed to find a car that's older than mine, and I used to own one of these, so this is a blast from the past. 2008 blue Astra, a Vauxhall Astra, manual. Mine was automatic. This one was manual. I only had 5 gears. I get in, I start the car, I start pulling out. I'm like, as you do with any car, I've got to sort of learn the bike point, all of this, learn how the gears, all of that, and just basically get the fuck out of there, which I do. 2008 Vauxhall Astra has no sat-nav. Not sure if you would work that one out. Right, set the sat-nav on my phone. I'd anticipated something because I'd taken a battery for my phone. So I plugged the phone in, put the sat-nav on, and the sat-nav's like, let's fucking go. And I'm like, cool. And the car, that's freshly topped up with fuel, said, you need to put some fuel in because I'm empty. And it was empty. I have absolutely zero clue how they thought I was driving that car anywhere other than the top of the street. The car was empty. I'm like, right, fine, fuck it. I'm going to drive to the petrol station. I've passed this petrol station about 15 times in my life at this point in time. I'm going to drive to the petrol station and put some fuel in this fucking car, and I'm going to go home. I get to the petrol station, I put some fuel in. The fuel pump does the thing where every time you try and stop it on the pound, it's like, no, I'm going to put a few extra pennies in. I end up putting £30 of petrol in this car. In my head, I go, well, if I've got this car for the next 4 days and I'm going to have to use it over those 4 days, and then I'm going to have to drive it back 85 miles, 30 quid's probably about right, and it's probably not that bad in the grand scheme of things. I just want it fucking sorting. 30 quid later, I'm on the road. Sat nav set, 5 gears. I think it's 50 miles of motorway and 20 miles of dual carriageway, and then a couple of roads either side of like some 50 and some 40, and that's it. So me and my 5 gears, we set off, and I'm basically doing 50 because I'm like, I don't know what this car can and can't do. I'm driving behind trucks, I'm pootling along. I'm like, do you know what? The car has to be able to do 70 because I can see it on the speedo. Let's fucking go. So I managed to get the car up to 70, and I basically just sit like that. 70 mile an hour, all the way back. Job done. This car had 125,000 miles on it. That's the thing. I drive back. I pull on the drive. Leanne comes out to have a good old laugh. I'm just, by this point, I've driven to Manchester and back. Well, other side of Manchester. I've done 170 miles at this point. 170 miles by like 11 o'clock in the morning. I get out of the car, get my car bag out, get all my bits and bobs out of the car, walk through the front door, walk into the kitchen, take my phone out of my pocket to see a message from the garage saying, "Hi Andy, your car's ready to collect." It was sent 1 minute before I walked through the door. 1 minute before I pulled my phone out of my pocket. It said sent 1 minute ago. And I went, you are fucking kidding me. How many times did I ask this garage how long this was going to take, and at no point did they ever tell me? Now, again, devil's advocate, holding my hands up on this one. I didn't ask them at the time. I didn't ask them when I dropped the car off, because by this point I must have asked them 10 times how long they thought it was going to take. And the first time they'd originally quoted me days, and the second time they'd originally quoted me days, and then 2 weeks later of radio silence, and they can't answer the question. They could have said, you should have it back by the end of the day. I would have reevaluated my actions. But because the quote I got was days, I went the fuck home. There was some screaming. At this point in time, it's half an hour until I have to pick my son up from school. I go, right. Fuck it. I send a message back. I'm like, okay, I'll come and get it now. It'll be a couple of hours. Just to give an idea of the fact that, you know, maybe if you told me it was going to take 90 minutes, I'd have just gone and got a fucking coffee and read a book. $170 miles at this point. So, I go and get my son. How was your day? Great, wonderful. Let's go home. I get everybody back to the house and literally walk out to the car. take my car bag, stick it in the car, set the sat-nav, and away we fucking go, my friend. And the drive there is relatively uneventful. I managed to get up to 70 a lot quicker because I know the car can do 70. It's a lot warmer at this point of the day, and I'm trying to twiddle all the dials to get some sort of cold breeze blowing through the car. That's something that car couldn't do. Warm air, buckets of the stuff. You want anything below about lukewarm? No. Oh, it's funny because once you turned it on, you couldn't turn it off. Couldn't turn it down. So I just had warm air blowing on a warm day. Anyway, I drive back 85 miles, pulling, and I'm like, well, there we go. There's my car parked up. I walk in, press the belt. Somebody comes literally straight away. I'm like, come to collect my car. They're like, lovely stuff. And it was literally like, do you need anything out of the courtesy car? I was like, no, everything's in this bag here. This is my car bag. They're like, fantastic. Well, there's your keys, and I'll take those keys, and you can go. And I'm like, lovely stuff. I'm just going to quickly nip for a wee, and then I am the fuck out of here. As I'm about to walk into their customer toilet, the guy stops. He's like, "Oh, Andy, by the way," I'm like, this is gonna be good because I half suspect I know what you're about to say. We're trying to get some new customer reviews. Customers who have had great service. We're trying to get some reviews, 5-star, obviously, on Google. I think he said TripAdvisor, maybe. Although that doesn't seem to ring a bell. But anyway, so some other service, Google, and I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, and as a team, we're 2 5-star reviews away from a night out. I was like, really? Oh, it's like, if you wouldn't mind, if I send you a couple of links, would you be able to go on and like leave us a couple of 5-star reviews? I was like, absolutely. Yep, definitely. You send me those links, I'll definitely get those done for you. I walk into, he's like, lovely stuff, thank you very much, really appreciate it. I was like, no problem. I walk into their toilet. I walk round into the toilet cubicle. I was like, you do not want me to leave you any kind of fucking review, my friend, because you might never see another piece of business in your life. So, I go to the car, plug in my plugs so I can charge my phone and things like that. And here's the thing. My car is electric. I had charged it reasonably. But as with all of the things that have basically been around, centered around this car, the range that I was told this car had was wildly overestimated. And my car cannot do 170 miles, or as it's more commonly known, 2 trips to the other side of Manchester. So I didn't have enough power to get home. Okay, at this point in time, it's getting on. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, right, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to drive to somewhere to charge the car. I am ideally going to go and somewhere I can sit while I wait. Now, I will admit, me and Leanne had Googled, and it turns out that where the Tim Hortons that I've been frequenting recently is, literally next door is a charging point. I was like, right, I'm going to go there, charge up, drive home. By the time I've got all this sorted, it's another one of these things. You can't use your bank to pay. No. You got to sign up for the app, kids. And then you've got to give them as much information as they can siphon from you before they'll let you charge. So I had to take a deep breath and give them as little as possible before I could get its charge. Luckily for everybody involved, it was a reasonably quick charging, and I wanted plenty so I could get home. So off I toddled to Tim Hortons. A little bit sad because the last couple of times I've gone, I've taken one of my children and I've sat there and we've had a lovely time. But this day I was on my own. I sat on my own, I had a drink and I read a book. As I would have done. No, that time has passed. Anyway, moving on. So, about an hour goes by, 50 minutes to an hour. I keep checking the car. I keep checking the app that I've now downloaded. I keep checking the cost. We're in the region of about a tenner, and about 70 miles or something has been put on. And I'm like, well, that's almost enough to get home. And it already had some. I've got plenty of charge to get home. It's time to go home. Time to leave this place and go home. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm the other side of Manchester. On the day that England are due to play football in the World Cup. So let's start putting those pieces together, shall we? I'm the wrong side of Manchester. 4 o'clock, start rush hour, and everybody's desperately trying to get home to watch the England game. I set the sat nav for home. I've got enough power to get home by a lot. As I'm driving up the road, the sat nav says turn left, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's right, and I'm pretty sure when you turn right, it takes you out like round that bend over there, and then basically drops you onto the motorway. Why does it want me to go left? Where I was pulling out of is this really weird roundabout. It's technically a roundabout, but the car thinks it's like a proper roundabout, and now it's more of a square about. Still a roundabout, but it's a really weird shape, and it's got really weird sort of like, you can go left and you can go straight left and right left and left and forward left and round the corner left and then right. I was like, I'm sure you're supposed to go right here. I'm sure you're supposed to go right. Sat-nav wants me to go left though. Is it proper left? Is it that weird thing where it's like, go left? No, not that left, the other left. I'm like, I don't know. Not got a lot of time to decide. Should I follow the sat-nav? Should I follow my instincts? I'm going to go with the sat-nav. I drove for 7 miles. I could have walked 7 miles. And then walked another 7 miles. I got so far through this process now and I'm going the wrong way. I am completely stuck in this bullshit traffic that I can't get out of this fucking place. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go back to where I started. I'm going to reset the sat-nav. The sat-nav is going to tell me to go right instead of left, and I am on my way home. And I did all of that. And the sat-nav said, turn left. And I went, the fuck are you on about? And I zoomed it out and I zoomed it in and I looked around and I'm like, no, I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. And the sat-nav's like, turn left. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, I don't understand what's going on right now. Why are you telling me to go that way? Do you know something I don't? Is it completely stood still traffic? Are you trying to get me away from like bad traffic? What's going on right now? The sat-nav's like, go left. I'm like, fine, I will go left. By this point, 20, 30 minutes have passed. The traffic is even worse than it was. Another 7 miles later, and I am back to where I started when I decided to double back on myself. But I keep going. I'm like, no, round here and up a bit is the motorway. I'm sure it's taking me to the motorway. I can see it on the map. It's fine. And the sat-nav's like, yeah, we're not going to the motorway. We're going to go this way. I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? It's like, trust me. I'm like, I don't think I do. But right now, I don't have much choice. So we started going, a lot of left was happening, and I'm pretty sure we should be going right. And then I reach a roundabout. And I go, I recognize this roundabout. I recognize it because I've seen it a lot recently. And I look to my left, and there is a sign for the turn off to start heading to where the garage is. I have basically made it back to where I started. It's been a 20-mile round trip. It has taken me an hour, and all it has done is use power. Power that I thought I had, but at this point I don't. I start zooming out, and I realise that the sat-nav's idea to get me to the motorway is, I know a shortcut. All right, what's your shortcut? We're going to go through all these residential areas that are wall-to-wall on-street parking, so nobody can get past, nobody can get anywhere. We're going to do this for the next hour. We're going to travel about 3 miles. And by the way, I'm a sat-nav. I told absolutely everybody else in the vicinity to do the same. I spent the next hour traveling the distance of 3 miles. I'm not too much of a man to say I am practically in tears at this point, because I genuinely believe that I believe it's some sort of Twilight Zone episode, and I genuinely believe that I live in my car in somewhere in Manchester, and I'm never going to see my family again. A woman who was walking down the street I'm on passed me 9 times because she was walking faster than me. There was a point where I'm on a street that's got on-street parking on both sides, making it essentially a one-way street, and a load of cars decided to come the other way. People are like, I'm going to turn off here, it's going to be quicker. No, it fucking won't. And do you know why I know that? Because I've been here before. Me and a friend of mine went to Manchester one time, and the car I was in, the sat-nav was like, I've got a great idea, we're going to go this way. And it was the actual definition of hell. It was never fucking ending, and I was back in that place. How that city functions in any way, shape or form. I looked at the faces of the other drivers, and they looked like it was just another day. They looked like they were having not the worst fucking time of their lives. How the fuck that city operates in any way, shape or form, I do not know. I heard horror stories and have experienced on multiple occasions the horror that goes into driving in and around Leeds. That was straight up created by like a multitude of evil forces all clubbed together to create the road system that is Leeds. That's why nobody ever drives to fucking Leeds. Manchester's like, Leeds? Fuck Leeds. We're the daddy. Let's show you how it's really done. No fucking part of that city operates in any way, shape or form, and everybody's fucking fine with it. So, just a reminder, we're 2 hours in at this point. So, I truly believe that I'm never getting out. I finally made it to the big long road that leads out of Manchester that I once got stuck on and tried 30 times to get off and take different routes, and all roads lead to Rome. Everything led back to that fucking road. I finally get to a roundabout that leads to a slip road onto the motorway, and the sat-nav informs me, hey buddy, you ain't going fucking anywhere on that slip road, on that stretch of motorway. Nothing. I crawl up onto the slip road, I crawl up the slip road, and I crawl onto the motorway, where I proceed to sit and creep and sit and creep and sit and creep. Another hour passes. So we're 3 hours in at this point. I've done something like not even 25 miles or something at this point, 3 hours. And then things start moving. I've obviously passed a threshold where I'm no longer in the gravitational pull of Manchester, and I've broken through. I am now on a trajectory that is pulling away from Manchester. And what that means is that I can actually start moving away. And away we go. And at this point, I have it was like 50 something miles left to go to get home. I arrived home after 7 o'clock at night. My children were still up because they were weirdly watching the football. I got back. I had done, even if I'd just done 85 miles there, back, you're looking at 340 miles. But I'm pretty sure I did about 360 miles that day. I was in the car for 9 hours. I was in a car for 9 hours that day. And all because A, I didn't say, so how long is this going to take? And B, at no point did they answer my fucking question of how long it might take. Even if they'd have said it'll be done the same day, I would have planned around that. I'd have driven to Tim Hortons. I'd have parked in the car park. I'd have gone and got a coffee. And I'd have probably phoned them after an hour and said, any update? A little while after I got home, I got a message from the garage. Hi Andy, here's those links that I said I'd send you. As it stands at this point in time, there is one unread message on my phone. And quite frankly, it may stay there forever. Because as I was always told, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So, there you go. There's the car saga. Now I'm just waiting for what wonderful thing is going to explode on the vehicle. We had a birthday party yesterday. Now I know what you're thinking. Hang on a minute, I can do math, and it was nobody's birthday yesterday. You are right. And I know what you're thinking. Hang on a minute. You said it was like somebody's birthday like 2 weeks ago. You're right, it was. But due to the way certain weekends fall and the way, if you want to invite certain people, you have to invite them in a certain way, birthday party was delayed, and we had a birthday party yesterday. My son's birthday party. I'm not going to lie, it was real weird singing happy birthday 2 weeks after his birthday. But anyway, we had a birthday party. We went to a farm play place. I was like, I don't want to go there. Then I was like, well, here's the price of one of the places we could go to. I was like, okay, that's fine. So here's the price of the farm play place. It's half the price. I went, let's go to the farm. All in all, it wasn't that bad. I will say this much. Something I can keep saying to people is, we went to look at the animals. Me and my eldest went to look at the animals, and we walked in, and I was like, oh my God, these animals are gorgeous. It was like these 2 cows. The first thing I saw when I walked in, I was like, my word, those cows are gorgeous. The sheep looked really nice. There was a bajillion rabbits, guinea pigs, goats, sheep, birds. Best bit, absolute best bit. My eldest has got a guinea pig. My youngest daughter's got a rabbit. My middle daughter's got a rabbit. My middle daughter's friend's got a rabbit. One of their friends, duck. I turned around, I was like, who the fuck's got a fucking duck? And why? And how? And can I hold it? It was hilarious. I took a picture of a rabbit that looked like a freaking Ewok. And it was just angry. Reminded me of my cat, who's angry all the time. Yeah, and there was like, they went on all the play stuff, they saw the animals, they fed the animals, they got to sit with the animals, they fed the animals some more, then they went on the play stuff again, then they had some food, then they went on the play stuff, and now it's time to go home. Birthday party done, achievement unlocked. My son got a load of presents, as is the way. Not loads of kids. There was more of his siblings and their friends than his friends at his party. But that's what happens when you're that age. You don't have loads and loads of friends. So birthday party was done. Something that I have written on my list as just something that me and Leanne keep talking about at the moment, and I keep saying the same thing to her. Do you remember it was like a couple of weeks before Christmas? I said this phrase: we just got to get through next week, and then everything should calm down. Just got to get through next week, everything should calm down. And I was like, it's fine, because next week is the point in time where we've got all of the things we've got, like, and I think it was like, you've got nativity and the dance show and the this and the that, and there's probably like parents' evening or something like. There's like all this stuff gets crammed in right at the very end before they sort of break up for Christmas. And I was like, once everything and all of that stuff's done, things should calm down a bit. I said, once we get through next week, things should be fine. And her response was, you reckon? Because the week after's worse. And I was like, the fuck do you mean? And she rattled off all the stuff that's the week after next. And I was like, how is it worse? She was like, exactly. I was like, okay. She was like, and then the week after that, it's the first week of the summer holidays. And I'm like, honestly, I am tired of this shit. When is it gonna be not this? When is it gonna be not fucking stressful? Honestly, it just doesn't end. I really am living that, that kind of, oh, don't grow up, it's a trap. Oh, don't become an adult, it's a trap. Don't be a parent, it's a trap. Like, I'm living that at the moment. It is literally like, it's just one thing after another. And I honestly don't, because I know, like, a certain friend of mine would say, you've got 4 kids. What did you expect? It's nothing to do with that. The car situation, was that to do with having 4 kids? Yes, I needed 7 seats. There you go. Other than that, it's just normal bullshit. I don't know where the point was where everything suddenly decided it needed to be just maximum stress all the time. I'll tell you how it works at the moment. I'm only working 2 days this week, and I've already done one of them. So tomorrow is my last working day for the rest of this week. And then I've got a week at work, and I'm off work for a week. So at this point in time, I'm starting to slip into holiday mode. But I can't let myself fully slip into holiday mode, because I know that because tomorrow is my last day for the rest of the week, it is going to be utter fucking horseshit. From the moment I log on to the moment I log off, it's going to be fucking bullshit. And I'm like, there we go. I already know it's going to be bad. Anyway. Let's talk about some TV stuff, shall we? Me and Leanne finished another series of Young Sheldon. We're on to Series 6. We are aware that Series 7 is only half a series, 14 episodes. So we've only got the rest of this series and then half a series, and then we are done. I just spend a lot of my time now highlighting how each character is the worst character, apart from George, the dad. But I've already had to prepare Leanne. I'm like, it's going to get better before it gets, no, it's going to get worse before it gets better, you know, like life. I think she senses what might be coming. I managed to get a couple of episodes of My Hero Academia in. I don't fucking know, guys. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. Is it good? I don't know. I've no idea. There's been a couple of really good bits in it. But the rest feels like... I don't know, guys. I don't know. I keep feeling like I've got to give it a chance, but I'm also like, why? Why am I giving it all these chances? Why? I kind of want to know if it ever gets like really good, but they are drip feeding the good. New series. In fact, this is something that I meant to look up. New series of... Actually, can I do it from here? Because if I go into Amazon and I need Amazon Prime, and then I do a search from here for... Can you still hear me? Go in the shop. Oh, coming soon. We've got a coming soon and... Coming soon is all it's going to tell us. I think it's tomorrow. Pretty sure it's tomorrow. But it won't tell me. Details, maybe? No, it won't tell me. It won't tell me, guys. It won't tell me. I don't know why I've suddenly decided to start saying guys a lot. Maybe I'm really becoming an international podcast superstar. If Ghost in the Shell's new series starts tomorrow, I'll probably start watching that. Not going to lie, it looks fucking awesome. Computer games. I am going to talk about the fact that I have no, don't say that. I have completely finished Crimson Desert from the perspective of I have rolled credits and done all the stuff that came after the credits. I didn't do all the missions, all the side stuff. It just wasn't possible. So I've finished it as much as I am able. I'm going to talk about Forza Horizon 6 versus the Crew Motorfest. Early on in the process of Forza Horizon 6, somebody said, I heard that the Crew Motorfest is better. And I was like, yeah, you might be right. I played... Oh, I got... I thought that one was going to get stuck. I played Forza Horizon 6 to what I believe is the point where I've gone, I can't do any more on this. Even though it's not finished. So, out of spite, I switched back to playing the Crew Motorfest, and I'm really enjoying it. To the point where I'm like, yeah, this is better. And it's better in a lot of ways. Like a lot of ways. It has so many more dimensions to it. They obviously keep updating it, and recently they've updated the map, and the way the map works is amazing. You get like a zoomed out version of the map, but like the map's like a fully functioning world. You're just zoomed out from it. It's awesome. It looks incredible. And I'm like, this is really what Forza should be looking like. You know, it's Forza at the end of the day. The crew's great. I'm really enjoying it. It feels like a proper racing game, which, Forza did not. So I'm playing the Crew. Stellar Blade is the other game I'm playing at the moment. Still not quite locked in on that game. I have beaten the first big boss. It took me a little while. I kept getting killed because I couldn't work out what I was supposed to be doing. Finally sort of got a bit of a flow going and managed to do it, and progressed on from there. Myself and Sam are playing it at the same time. He's a little bit further ahead than I am, so we've got that sort of like when we were both playing Chronos. we can sort of talk about it with each other, which is kind of nice. It's fine. It's fine. It definitely knew its audience. And its audience maybe weren't there solely for the game, shall we say. Finally, played a little bit of Into the Radius 2. Something I was talking about today is they've released a DLC, but it's not a DLC that's got like weapons and missions in. It's a DLC that unlocks all the equipment from Into the Radius 1. I have put 230 hours into the Radius 2. The version I play is nothing like the actual game because it's modded up the wazoo. But I still love the game in all its versions. I would love to support them more. I've had many, many, many times the amount of money I've paid for that game out of that game. So I would love to support them more. I think the DLC is less than a tenner. I'm absolutely prepared to give you £10 for this game. I have no need for any of that stuff that you're offering. So I would happily give them the money and just not have the stuff at this point, because I don't want any of it. The only item I would want is the knife, because the knife's like a machete from the first one. Outside of that, I'm like, keep the rest, take the money. Honestly, I'll happily give you the money. I just don't want the stuff. There's been a couple of small updates. One of them I had a fear was going to kill the mods, but it didn't. So I was kind of happy about that. We'll see what happens when it next updates. Any of the big updates do tend to kill all of the mods, which is it's getting a bit tiresome if I'm honest. But we'll see. There we go. That is actually the end of the podcast. The car saga took up a big chunk of our time together. Rightly or wrongly so, you decide. But thank you for being here, and I'll catch you next time. So there we go. What do you think of that? Another one done, another one gone. Thank you for joining me on my car saga. If you would like to hear more about my travels around the country, I'm sure there'll be something in the next, week or so. Planning to take my son out for a day trip. I'm sure that'll be fun. It should be fine. Big thank you for watching, big thank you for listening, big thank you for being here. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Check out the website, thequickiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. That is it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to this episode of QuickieCast.